Miyamoto Musashi Dokkodo. Precept 1. Seiyo no michi o somuku koto nashi. In English, accept everything just the way it is. Now hold on. You've probably heard this before, right? Accept reality. Sounds like typical positive thinking advice. But that's not what Musashi meant. What I'm about to share isn't some feel-good philosophy. This is a survival strategy from a man who fought over 60 life or death duels and never lost. These words were written 7 days before his death. Think about it. When you're facing someone trying to kill you tomorrow, you don't have time to complain about bad conditions. Bad weather? Unfamiliar terrain? Didn't sleep well? Too bad. You accept reality instantly and make your next move. Your ability to do this determines whether you live or die. That's what this first precept really means. Miyamoto Musashi Dokkodo. Precept 2. Me ni tanoshimi o takumazu. In English, do not seek pleasure for its own sake. Here's what's critical to understand. Musashi is not saying never enjoy anything. What he's warning against is being controlled by consumptive pleasure. What's consumptive pleasure? Gourmet food that's gone the moment you swallow it, videos that end and leave nothing behind, alcohol that wears off. These feel good in the moment, but they leave nothing. Worse, when they're over, you're left with emptiness and a craving for more. In Musashi's era, he lived an extremely austere life. Why? Because when you get used to pleasure, you suffer when you can't get it. And the time and energy spent chasing pleasure gets stolen from what truly matters. In his case, mastering the way of the sword. This isn't monastic asceticism. This is a practical survival strategy for the battlefield. Miyamoto Musashi Dokkodo. Precept 3. Yorozu ni eko no kokoro nashi. In English, do not, under any circumstances, depend on a partiality. Or more directly, never lean on anything outside of yourself. Here's what's critical to understand the word eko, partiality or attachment. Eko means to lean on something, to show favoritism, to be biased towards something specific. In modern terms, this translates to give up the expectation that someone will make me happy. We tend to think this way. If only that person would change. If only my company would recognize me. If only my parents would understand me. We hand over the switch to our happiness to someone else's control. But you can't control other people. When you lean on someone, the moment they move, you fall. Musashi is saying, if you stand on your own feet from the start, no matter who moves or how, you won't fall. This isn't a cold statement, it's the ultimate kindness. Because only those who don't depend on others can truly be free. Miyamoto Musashi Dokkodo. Precept 4. Mi o asaku omoi, yo o fukaku omou. In English, think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. Here's what's critical to understand. This doesn't mean treat yourself poorly. It's not about self-deprecation. It's about self-detachment. What Musashi means is, don't be attached to yourself. We tend to take ourselves too seriously. I'm working so hard. Why isn't anyone noticing? I need people to understand my feelings. I deserve more recognition. Me. This attachment to self is actually the source of our greatest suffering. Why? The more seriously you take yourself, the more you obsess over what others think. What does that person think of me? Was that comment a criticism of me? Am I not being recognized? When you believe the world revolves around you, everything feels like a personal attack. But when you take yourself lightly, you're freed from this suffering. I'm just a tiny speck in the universe. The moment you adopt this perspective, other people's words, your failures, everything becomes lighter. Miyamoto Musashi Dokkodo. Precept 5. Issho no aida, yokushin omowazu. In English, be detached from desire your whole life long. Throughout your life, don't hold a greedy heart. Now hold on. Have no desire? Isn't that unnatural for humans? No, that's not what this means. What I'm about to share isn't some feel-good philosophy. This is the life philosophy of a man who fought over 60 life or death duels and never lost. These words were written 7 days before his death. Think about it. In Musashi's era, what happened to greedy samurai? If they thought, I want more land, they'd turn to betrayal. If they thought, I want more money, they'd misjudge situations. If they thought, I want more fame, they'd challenge reckless battles and die. Desire steals calm judgment. Musashi doesn't teach, have no desire. He teaches, don't be controlled by desire, seeking what you need that's natural. but endlessly seeking more. That's the problem. What is a greedy heart? A heart that's never satisfied with what it has, constantly seeking next. Earn $100,000 and you're not satisfied, you want $1 million. Earn $1 million and you're not satisfied, you want $10 million. Never fulfilled. This is a greedy heart. Musashi thought like this. Desire has no end. So chasing desire will never lead to happiness. So what do? Seek only what you need, nothing more. One sword, one robe, one meal. That's enough, Musashi believed. Why do we become greedy? In psychology, this is called hedonic adaptation. The human brain quickly adapts to anything good we acquire. The moment you buy a new car, you're happy. But a month later, that happiness is gone. And you want the next car. This is the mechanism of endless desire. Musashi teaches, get off this treadmill. Stop chasing more. Be satisfied with what is. This is true freedom. Desire enslaves you. I must earn more. I must succeed more. This must controls you. But Musashi teaches not must, but want. Not, I must earn more, but this is enough. Not, I must succeed more, but I am enough now. This shift liberates you. Miyamoto Musashi Dokkodo. Precept 6. Waga koto ni oite kokai o sezu. In English, do not regret what you have done. Never regret what you've decided and done. Now hold on. Don't regret? Isn't learning from mistakes important? No. That's not what this means. What I'm about to share isn't some feel-good philosophy. This is the life philosophy of a man who fought over 60 life or death duels and never lost. These words were written 7 days before his death. Think about it. When you have a duel tomorrow, what happens if you're regretting, I should have practiced more yesterday? Your focus scatters. Your confidence vanishes. And you lose. Musashi doesn't teach don't reflect. He teaches don't be imprisoned by regret. Regret and reflection are different. Reflection. What went wrong? How will I improve next time? Facing the future. Regret. Why did I do that? If only I had. Facing the past. Reflection makes you grow. Regret paralyzes you. Musashi thought like this. At that time, in that place, I did my best with what I had. So that's enough. Whether the result was good or bad, that decision was the best at that time. So there's no need to regret. Why do we regret? In psychology, this is called hindsight bias. After knowing the result, we have the illusion that we knew it all along. But reality is different. You back then, wasn't you now? With the information, knowledge, and situation of that time, you did your best. Saying, I should have done that from today's perspective isn't fair. Musashi teaches, trust your past self. Don't let your present self deny the decisions your past self made. Your past self did the best they could at that time. Acknowledge it, accept it, and move forward. This is Musashi's teaching. Regret is a waste of energy. The past cannot be changed. Regretting doesn't change that decision. What changes is only that your heart becomes heavier. So shouldn't you use that energy for the future instead? In Musashi's era, regret was deadly. A swordsman regretting, if only I'd used a different technique, will hesitate in the next duel too. A swordsman thinking, that choice was right. Next time I'll improve this way, become stronger. Musashi was the latter. That's why he never lost. Miyamoto Musashi Dokkodo. Precept 7. Zenaku ni shasin nashi. In English, do not be swayed by the good or evil of others. Don't let your heart be thrown away or controlled by others' good or evil. Now hold on. Don't react to evil people? Isn't that cold-hearted? No, that's not what this means. What I'm about to share isn't some feel-good philosophy. This is the mental management method of a man who fought over 60 life or death duels and never lost. These words were written 7 days before his death. Think about it. When you have a duel tomorrow, what happens if you're angry thinking, that guy's a cheater? Your emotions get disturbed. Your judgment dulls. And you lose. Musashi doesn't teach ignore good and evil. He teaches, don't let good and evil control your heart. Whether others are good or evil, what you must do doesn't change. If you have time to be angry, that guy's evil, sharpen your skills instead. If you have time to admire that guy's good, advance your own path instead. Others' good and evil are others' problems. Your problem is how you yourself live. Why do we get trapped by others' good and evil? In psychology, this is called justice bias. The human brain wants to believe the world should be fair. So when bad people succeed, we rage, unforgivable. When good people suffer, we're indignant, unfair. But reality isn't fair. Bad people sometimes succeed. Good people sometimes suffer. If you can't accept this reality, you'll be constantly irritated. Musashi teaches accept reality. Being angry about others' good and evil doesn't change reality. What changes is only that your heart gets disturbed. So isn't it wiser to not worry about others' good and evil and advance your own path? This doesn't mean tolerate evil. It means don't let evil disturb your heart. Evil should be corrected, but you shouldn't do it emotionally. Calmly, rationally, handle it matter-of-factly. This is Musashi's teaching. Miyamoto Musashi Dokkodo. Precept 8. いずれの道にも別れを悲しまず. In English, never let yourself be saddened by a separation. In any situation, in any separation, do not be saddened. Now hold on. Don't be sad about separation? Isn't that inhuman? No, that's not what this means. What I'm about to share isn't some feel-good philosophy. This is the life philosophy of a man who fought over 60 life or death duels and never lost. These words were written 7 days before his death. Think about it. Musashi's life was a series of separations. When he killed his first man at 13, he separated from childhood. He separated from his master, from his hometown, from companions, and forced many enemies to separate through death. If he mourned every separation, he couldn't move forward. To survive on the battlefield, Musashi learned to accept separation. Musashi doesn't teach don't be sad. He teaches don't be imprisoned by sadness. Feeling sadness that's natural, that's human. But being controlled by sadness and unable to move forward, that's the problem. Separation isn't an ending. It's a new beginning. That's how Musashi thought. Separating from his master allowed him to find his own path. Separating from his hometown allowed him to travel Japan and grow stronger. Separating from one path allowed him to advance on a new one. Separation isn't loss. Separation is change. And change is the only path to growth. Why do we mourn separations? In psychology, this is called loss aversion bias. The human brain is designed to feel pain of loss more strongly than joy of gain. We fixate on what we lost and undervalue what we haven't yet gained. So separation looks like the end. But here's the reality. Separation creates space for something new to begin. If old relationships don't end, new relationships can't begin. If you don't quit your old job, your new career can't start. If you don't separate from your old self, your new self can't be born. Musashi teaches accept separation. It's okay to be sad, but don't be imprisoned. It's okay to feel, but don't stay there. Recognize separation, accept it, and move forward. This is Musashi's teaching. Miyamoto Musashi Dokkodo. Precept 9. Jita tomo ni urami kakotsu kokoro nashi. In English, resentment and complaint are appropriate, neither for oneself nor others. Don't harbor resentment or complaints toward yourself or others. Now, hold on. Don't resent, don't complain. Won't that create stress? No, that's not what this means. What I'm about to share isn't some feel-good philosophy. This is the mental management method of a man who fought over 60 life or death duels and never lost. These words were written 7 days before his death. Think about it. When you have a duel tomorrow, what happens if you're complaining, it's his fault, or I'm no good? Your focus scatters, your confidence vanishes, and you lose. Musashi doesn't teach have no emotions. He teaches don't let the poison of resentment and complaint into your heart. What is resentment? That person ruined my life. Continuing to blame someone from the past. What is complaint? I'm no good. The world is unfair. Continuing to lament your current situation. These two have something in common. Neither produces anything. Resenting doesn't change the past. Complaining doesn't change the present. What changes is only that your energy gets depleted. Musashi thought like this. If you have time to resent, sharpen your skills. If you have time to complain, think about your next move. Because resentment and complaint stop forward progress. In psychology, this is called victim mentality. When you keep thinking because of someone or because of something, you start feeling powerless and you stop taking action. Resentment and complaint make you a victim. But Musashi doesn't teach become a perpetrator. He teaches become an agent. It's their fault, victim. What will I do? Agent. Victims are controlled by others. Agents control their own lives. Which do you want to be? In Musashi's era, resentment and complaint were deadly. A swordsman who complains, I lost because the weather was bad, will lose again. A swordsman who thinks, I lost because I was weak. How will I improve next time? Become stronger. Musashi was the latter. That's why he never lost in over 60 duels. This isn't spiritual training. This is a practical strategy for survival. Miyamoto Musashi Dokkodo. Precept 10. Renbo no michi, omoi yoru kokoro nashi. In English, do not be attached to romantic love. Don't lose yourself in the path of romance or hold an attached heart. Now hold on. Don't be attached to romance? Isn't that cold-hearted? No, that's not what this means. What I'm about to share isn't some feel-good philosophy. This is the life philosophy of a man who fought over 60 life or death duels and never lost. These words were written 7 days before his death. Think about it. In Musashi's era, what happened to samurai who drowned in romance? They misjudged, were exploited by enemies, and lost their lives. Romantic feelings steal calm judgment. Musashi doesn't teach don't fall in love. He teaches don't be attached to romance. Falling in love, that's natural, that's human. But being imprisoned by romance and losing yourself, that's the problem. What is attachment? I can't live without this person. This romance is everything. If I lose this person, my life is over. This is attachment. Musashi thought like this. Romance is just one part of life, not all of life. Whether romance goes well or not, his path doesn't change. Mastering the way of the sword that was Musashi's life. Romance was something that interfered with that path. Why do we get attached to romance? In psychology, this is called romantic love ideology. There's a soulmate. If there's true love, everything will work out. Romance is the meaning of life. These are illusions created by society. But reality is different. Romance is part of life, not all of it. Even if romance goes well, other problems remain. Even if romance doesn't work out, life continues. Musashi teaches maintain this balance. It's okay to enjoy romance, but don't let romance control your life. What happens when you're attached to romance? You become dependent on your partner. You're controlled by their every move. You become unbearably anxious without them. This isn't love. This is dependency. Musashi teaches, be independent, then love. I'm okay without you, but with you, it's even better. This is healthy love. I can't live without you. This is unhealthy attachment. Miyamoto Musashi Dokkodo. Precept 11. Monogoto ni suki o konomazu. In English, do not be attached to luxury items or curios. It means, do not become attached to or fixated on luxury goods or antiques. Now, wait a minute. Don't have preferences? But isn't having your own style important? No, that's not it. What I'm about to share is not feel-good self-help philosophy. This is the life philosophy of a man who fought over 60 death matches and never lost once. Words written 7 days before death. Think about it. When there's a duel tomorrow, what happens if you fixate on, I can only fight with this sword? The moment you lose that sword, you can't fight. And you lose. What Musashi teaches is not don't have preferences, but don't be enslaved by preferences. Having preferences, that's natural, that's human. However, clinging to those preferences and losing flexibility, that's the problem. Musashi thought this way. The strongest isn't the one with the best tools. It's the one who can fight with any tools. In Musashi's era, many samurai obsessed over swords and tea ceremony utensils. Famous swords, expensive tea bowls, prestigious antiques, owning such items was considered samurai refinement. However, Musashi was different. At the duel on Ganryujima Island, he used a wooden sword carved from a boat oar. Not a real sword, an improvised wooden one. What does this mean? For Musashi, tools were means, not ends, because he had no fixation on, it must be this sword. He could fight with any tools. That's why he was undefeated. Why are we attached to preferences? In psychology, this is called the endowment effect. Once humans decide, I like this, they can't accept anything else. This brand is the best. This method is correct. I can't work unless it's this environment. Such preferences narrow your options. What Musashi teaches is flexibility is true strength. Even when environment changes, tools change, people change. Delivering results in any situation. This is real strength. In the era Musashi lived, attachment to preferences was fatal. A samurai fixated on, it must be this sword, loses fighting spirit. The moment he loses the sword. A samurai who thinks, I can fight with any weapon survives. Musashi was the latter. That's why he never lost once. Miyamoto Musashi Dokkodo. Precept 12. Shitaku ni oite nozomu kokoro nashi. In English, do not seek luxury in your dwelling. It means, do not hold a desire for luxury or extravagance in your dwelling. Now wait a minute. Don't be particular about your house. Isn't it natural to seek a comfortable home? No, that's not it. What I'm about to share is not feel-good self-help philosophy. This is the life philosophy of a man who fought over 60 death matches and never lost once. Words written 7 days before death. Think about it. In the era Musashi lived, owning a grand mansion was a status symbol for samurai. A wide garden, impressive gate, prestigious building. However, Musashi didn't seek that. Throughout his life, he lived in modest dwellings. At the end, he died in a cave called Reigando in the mountains of Kumamoto. Why? What Musashi teaches is not, don't live anywhere, but don't be attached to dwelling, living in a fine house. That's not a bad thing. However, being attached to a house and narrowing your life's options. That's the problem. I must protect this house. I must keep paying this mortgage. I can't move from this place. Such attachments make you unfree. Musashi thought this way. A house just needs to shelter you from rain and wind. Anything beyond that is attachment. A house is not the purpose of life. A house is a tool for living life. Being attached to a tool and sacrificing your life is putting the cart before the horse. Why are we attached to dwellings? Because society keeps whispering to you, own a house. Home ownership is proof of success. A house is life's goal. Renting is for losers. These messages bind you. However, Musashi says, owning a house is not success. Living freely is success. Even if you live in a grand house, chased by mortgage payments, unable to change jobs or move, is that success? Even in a modest house, if you can move freely and do what you want, isn't that true success? In Musashi's era, attachment to houses was fatal. A samurai who fixates on, I must protect this mansion, becomes unable to move. A samurai who thinks I can live anywhere can move freely. Musashi was the latter. That's why he could travel all across Japan and become the strongest swordsman. Miyamoto Musashi Dokkodo. Precept 13. Me hitotsu ni bishoku wo konomazu. In English, do not indulge in fine dining for yourself alone. It means do not pursue gourmet food just to satisfy your own palate, or be attached to taste for your personal pleasure. Now, wait a minute. Don't seek gourmet food? Isn't enjoying meals one of life's joys? No, that's not it. What I'm about to share is not feel-good self-help philosophy. This is the life philosophy of a man who fought over 60 death matches and never lost once. Words written 7 days before death. Think about it. When there's a duel tomorrow, what happens if you're pursuing gourmet food, thinking, what should I eat today? Your concentration scatters, energy is wasted, and you lose. What Musashi teaches is not don't eat, but don't be attached to food for yourself alone. Eating meals, that's necessary, that's human. However, being trapped by gourmet indulgence for your own pleasure and losing sight of life's essence, that's the problem. Musashi thought this way. Meals are fuel to move the body. Nothing more, nothing less. It's functional. Eating delicious food and feeling joy, that's natural. However, making gourmet food life's purpose just to please yourself, that's attachment. I can't be satisfied unless I go to that restaurant. I don't want anything but this dish. I can't be happy without expensive ingredients. This is attachment. In the era Musashi lived, meals were a means to survive. There was no luxury to pursue gourmet food. Eat what you could eat that day. That was sufficient. Because what mattered was not meals, but mastering the way of the sword. Why are we attached to gourmet food? Because modern society keeps whispering to you, gourmet food is happiness. Gourmet TV shows, Instagram-worthy dishes, Michelin guides. Everything says, eating delicious food makes you a winner in life. However, Musashi says, meals are a means, not a purpose. Pursuing gourmet food doesn't enrich life. Not being trapped by gourmet food and concentrating on what you should do. That is true richness. What Musashi teaches is not live frugally. It's don't let meals dominate your life. You can eat delicious food. However, don't make it the center of your life just for your own pleasure. Meals are fuel to achieve your purpose. Being attached to fuel, you mustn't lose sight of your purpose. Miyamoto Musashi Dokkodo. Precept 14. Matsudaimono furuki dogu o shoji sezu. In English, do not possess antiques or heirlooms for future value. It means do not own old tools or family treasures in hopes of their future worth. Now, wait a minute. Don't keep old things. Isn't it normal to cherish keepsakes? No, that's not it. What I'm about to share is not feel-good self-help philosophy. This is the life philosophy of a man who fought over 60 death matches and never lost once. Words written 7 days before death. Think about it. When there's a duel tomorrow, what happens if you're attached to an old sword? Because this was passed down from my ancestors? If that sword breaks, you can't fight. If you lose it, you can't recover. And you lose. What Musashi teaches is not, don't own anything, but don't be attached to the value of things, owning old things. That's not a bad thing. However, being attached to old things and unable to live in the present, that's the problem. Musashi thought this way. Tools only have value when used. Things just for display are nothing but spiritual clutter. In Musashi's era, samurai cherished swords and tools passed down from ancestors. It was family pride, status. However, Musashi was different. A sword is a tool for fighting, not for decoration. If a sword can't be used, it's meaningless no matter how expensive. If a sword can be used, it doesn't matter if it's new or old. Why are we attached to old things? First, expectations of future value. Maybe I can sell it for a lot someday. Maybe it'll become valuable someday. However, that someday never comes. Second, attachment to past memories. This was from my late grandmother. This was the first watch I bought. We tie memories to objects and can't let go. However, Musashi says, memories aren't in the objects. They're in your heart. Even if you discard the object, the memory doesn't disappear. By being attached to objects, you're losing the freedom to live in the present. In the era Musashi lived, attachment to old tools was fatal. A samurai who fixates on this sword was my father's keepsake loses fighting spirit the moment the sword breaks. A samurai who thinks a sword is just a tool keeps fighting with another weapon even if the sword breaks. Musashi was the latter. That's why he never lost once. Miyamoto Musashi Dokkodo. Precept 15. Wagami ni itari, mono imi suru koto nashi. In English, do not practice superstitions or observe taboos. It means, do not fear bad omens, practice superstitions, or rely on rituals for good fortune. Now wait a minute, don't believe in superstitions? But isn't relying on good luck for peace of mind normal? No, that's not it. What I'm about to share is not feel-good self-help philosophy. This is the life philosophy of a man who fought over 60 death matches and never lost once. Words written 7 days before death. Think about it. When there's a duel tomorrow, what happens if you're thinking, today is an unlucky day? Your confidence crumbles, your movement's slow, and you lose. What Musashi teaches is not ignore omens, but don't let an omen dictate your destiny. Being aware of omens, that's natural, that's human. However, being paralyzed by omens and unable to act, that's the problem. Musashi thought this way. Victory and defeat aren't determined by luck or omens. They're determined by technique and unwavering intent. In Musashi's era, many samurai relied heavily on fortune-telling and omens. Today is an auspicious day, so we'll march. That direction is unlucky, so we'll avoid it. However, Musashi was different. Whether the day was auspicious or inauspicious, he did what needed to be done. Whether the direction was lucky or unlucky, he went where he needed to go. Why? Because the moment you rely on omens, you stop believing in your own power. A samurai who thinks, I'll win because today's lucky, can't fight on unlucky days. A samurai who thinks, I'll win any day, can fight anytime. Musashi was the latter. Why are we attached to superstitions? Because we want to escape anxiety. The future is uncertain. We don't know what will happen, so we want something to cling to. If this fortune-telling is positive, I'll be fine. If I follow this ritual, I'll succeed. However, Musashi says, fortune-telling and omens don't change the future. Only your actions do. Even if the fortune is good, you'll lose without skill. Even if the omen is bad, you'll win with skill. What determines results isn't fortune or omens. It's your own actions. Superstition is a psychological crutch. Throw it away and stand on your own 2 feet. In the era Musashi lived, attachment to superstitions was fatal. A samurai who decided, I won't fight today because it's unlucky, got ambushed during that hesitation. A samurai who was ready to fight any day survived. Musashi was the latter. That's why he never lost once. Miyamoto Musashi Dokkodo. Precept 16. Heigu wa kakubetsu. Yo no dougu tashinamazu. In English, except for weapons, do not be attached to tools. It means, be obsessed with the quality of your core craft, but be indifferent to everything else. Now, wait a minute. Don't care about tools? But isn't using good tools important? No, that's not it. What I'm about to share is not feel-good self-help philosophy. This is the life philosophy of a man who fought over 60 death matches and never lost once. Words written 7 days before death. Think about it. What Musashi teaches is not don't own tools. It's obsess only over tools essential to your core purpose and ignore everything else. For Musashi, weapons, his tools of survival, were life or death equipment, so he was meticulous about his weapons. However, other tools, like tea ceremony, utensils, or fancy clothing, he completely ignored. Why? Because those had nothing to do with his essential purpose, mastering the way of the sword. Musashi thought this way: energy is finite, focus on what's essential and eliminate everything else. In modern terms, Musashi embodied focus and selection. Invest in tools related to your core purpose, but don't waste time, money, or energy on anything else. This clear boundary made Musashi the strongest. Why are we attached to tools? First, the illusion that tools compensate for lack of skill. If I buy the latest camera, I'll take great photos. If I buy premium notebooks, I'll write great content. However, this is backwards. With skill, you can deliver results with any tools. Without skill, no tool will save you. Second, preparation is a form of procrastination. I'll start once I have better tools. However, those better tools never arrive. Why? Because there's always something even better. Here's the trap. Buying a high-end tool gives you the dopamine hit of progress without actually doing the work. What Musashi teaches is this: victory is in the hand, not the hilt. In the era Musashi lived, many samurai obsessed over their swords. Famous swords, expensive swords, prestigious swords. However, Musashi was different. At the duel on Ganryujima Island, he used a wooden sword carved from a boat oar. Not a real sword, an improvised wooden one. This proves Musashi knew not the tool, but the wielder's skill determines victory. With the best tool but no skill, you lose. With the worst tool but skill, you win. This was the level Musashi reached. Miyamoto Musashi Dokkodo, Precept 17. Michi ni oite wa shi wo itowazu omou. In English, do not fear death for the sake of the way. It means, for the sake of your path, your beliefs, advance without fearing even death itself. Now wait a minute. Don't fear death? Isn't that reckless? No, that's not it. What I'm about to share is not feel-good self-help philosophy. This is the life philosophy of a man who fought over 60 death matches and never lost once. Words written 7 days before death. Think about it. When there's a duel tomorrow, what happens if you're thinking, I might die? Your hands shake, your judgment dulls, and you lose. What Musashi teaches is not take death lightly, but look death in the eye and keep walking. Fearing death. That's natural. That's human. However, being paralyzed by the fear of death and unable to do what must be done. That's the problem. Musashi thought this way. Death is inevitable. Then, rather than cowering in fear, living fully for what I believe is far better. This isn't a death wish. This is the resolve that dying without doing. What I must do is more terrifying than death itself. Living without a purpose is a slower, more painful death than any duel. In the era Musashi lived, duels were truly life or death. Lose and you die. Make a mistake and you die. So many samurai avoided duels. I might die, so I won't fight. However, Musashi was different. If it's for mastering the way of the sword, I'm willing to die. This resolve made him invincible. Why? Those who don't fear death aren't hindered by fear. Without fear, you can unleash your primal strength. Unleashing your primal strength, you win. Paradoxically, those who accept death are the ones who survive. Why do we fear losing? Because we believe, if I lose this, my life is over. Lose my job and it's over. Lose my money and it's over. Lose my reputation and it's over. However, Musashi says, even if you lose, you don't die. Anything other than death can be redone. Lose your job, you can work again. Lose your money, you can earn again. Lose your reputation, you can rebuild again. The only true end is death. Then there's nothing to fear except death. What Musashi teaches is this: don't fear losing. Even if you lose, you can start again. Fear is just a distraction. It's the ultimate wasteful pleasure that prevents you from reaching your true potential. Miyamoto Musashi Dokkodo, Precept 18. ロゴに及び、倍地米線の蓄えなし。In English, do not seek to possess goods or fiefs for your old age. It means, do not hoard land or money for retirement. Now, wait a minute. Don't save for retirement. Isn't that irresponsible? No, that's not it. What I'm about to share is not feel-good self-help philosophy. This is the life philosophy of a man who fought over 60 death matches and never lost once. Words written 7 days before death. Think about it. What Musashi teaches is not don't save, but don't sacrifice today for future anxiety. Reasonable preparation is necessary. However, if excessive saving prevents you from living, in this moment, that's backwards. Musashi thought this way: dying as the richest person is meaningless. While alive, liquidate your wealth into the currency of the soul wisdom. In Musashi's era, samurai were expected to accumulate land, rice, and money for retirement. Prepare for the future. This was considered wise living. However, Musashi was different. When he died at 62, he had almost no possessions. However, he left behind the Gorin no Sho and Dokkodo eternal treasures. Not money, but wisdom and experience. Not material, but spirit. What Musashi teaches is this: stagnant money is dead money. Flowing wisdom is eternal life. Hoarding wealth until your last breath is the ultimate form of distraction. It's a weight that keeps you from soaring in the present. Why are we obsessed with retirement? Because we're constantly bombarded with retirement anxiety. The 20 million yen retirement gap. You can't survive on pension alone. Save now or suffer later. These messages bind you. However, Musashi asks, for that someday, is it really worth sacrificing today? Desperately saving for retirement, giving up today's experiences, avoiding today's challenges, neglecting today's relationships. Then, when retirement comes, you have money, but nothing you want to do, no health, and no one connected to you. Is that really a happy retirement? Don't be a slave to a version of yourself that doesn't exist yet. What Musashi teaches is balance. Prepare for the future while cherishing this moment. Rather than hoarding money, invest in experiences, wisdom and relationships, assets that don't diminish. This is true richness. Miyamoto Musashi Dokkodo. Precept 19. Bushin wa totoshi, bushin wo tanomazu. In English, respect Buddha and the gods without relying on their help. It means honor the divine, but never depend on divine intervention. Trust only your own power. Now wait a minute. Don't rely on God? Isn't that disrespectful? No, that's not it. What I'm about to share is not feel-good self-help philosophy. This is the life philosophy of a man who fought over 60 death matches and never lost once. Words written 7 days before death. Think about it. When there's a duel tomorrow, what happens if you're praying, God, please help me? You rely on prayer and neglect preparation, and you lose. What Musashi teaches is not reject the divine, but don't surrender your agency to the divine. Respecting the divine. That's important. That's culture. However, depending on the divine and abandoning your own responsibility. That's the problem. Musashi thought this way: the only one who can save me is me. In Musashi's era, many samurai prayed to gods and Buddha. Before battle, they prayed at shrines. They asked Buddha for safety. This was expected. However, Musashi was different. When he saw shrines or temples, he showed deep respect. However, he never prayed, God, please make me win. Why? Because the moment you rely on God, weakness enters your heart. The expectation that God will protect me turns to despair when betrayed. And more importantly, you surrender responsibility for your own life to something outside yourself. What Musashi teaches is this: the divine won't save you. Only you can save yourself. Why do we rely on the divine? Because we believe I don't have the power. I can't do it without someone's help. I have no choice but to leave it to fate. All I can do is pray to God. However, Musashi says, you have power. Believe in it. If you have time to pray to God, use that time to prepare. Before leaving it to fate, do everything you can yourself. The moment you rely on God, you become powerless. However, the moment you trust yourself, you become unstoppable. In the era Musashi lived, dependence on the divine was fatal. Samurai who believed, God will protect me, neglected preparation and died. Samurai who resolved, I will protect myself, never neglected preparation and survived. Musashi was the latter. That's why he never lost once. Miyamoto Musashi Dokkodo. Precept 20. In English, you may abandon your own body, but you must preserve your honor. It means, even if you must sacrifice your life, never stain your honor as a warrior. Now, wait a minute. Honor over life? Isn't that outdated? No, that's not it. What I'm about to share is not feel-good self-help philosophy. This is the life philosophy of a man who fought over 60 death matches and never lost once. Words written 7 days before death. Think about it. What Musashi teaches is not, take life lightly. It's protect your honor no matter what. Life will inevitably end someday. However, honor stays with you as long as you live. Those who lose their life but preserve their honor are remembered forever. However, those who preserve their life but lose their honor are remembered by no one. Musashi thought this way. What remains after I die is my name. I'd rather die than stain that name. In modern terms, what Musashi teaches is integrity. Do the right thing even when no one's watching. Maintain your standards even when there's no benefit. This is true honor. In Musashi's era, honor was a samurai's life. Losing honor meant dying while still alive. So many samurais sacrificed their lives for honor. However, in modern times, the word honor feels outdated. That's old-fashioned. Is it really? The honor Musashi teaches isn't about others' evaluation. It's an internal standard. Can I be proud of myself? When no one's watching, what do? Do you slack off? Or do you give your all? Do you commit fraud if you won't get caught? Or do you stay honest? This choice determines your honor. What Musashi teaches is this: your honor isn't determined by others. You determine it. Why do we lose our honor? Because we think, if I don't get caught, it's fine. When no one's watching, we slack off. If we won't get caught, we cheat. We only care about others' evaluation and have no personal standards. However, Musashi says, you are watching. You cannot escape from yourself. You can deceive others, but you cannot deceive yourself. Your own heart knows everything you've done, and that accumulation becomes your honor. In the era Musashi lived, losing honor meant social death. However, it's the same today. Those who've lost their honor may be alive, but their hearts are dead. Miyamoto Musashi Dokkodo, Precept 21, the final teaching. Tsunen ni michi o hanarezu. In English, never stray from the way. It means never deviate even one step from the path you believe is right. Now, wait a minute. Never stray from the path. Don't we need to be that strict with ourselves? No, that's not it. What I'm about to share is not feel-good self-help philosophy. This is the life philosophy of a man who fought over 60 death matches and never lost once. The final words written 7 days before death. Think about it. Why did Musashi choose these words as the final teaching of 21? Because this is the most important. No matter how great the teachings, you learn. The moment you stray from the path, everything becomes meaningless. What Musashi teaches is not be perfect. It's never give up on the path you've chosen. Walking the path, that's not easy. There are temptations. There are difficulties. You get tired. However, Musashi says, the moment you stray from the path, you cease to be yourself. Musashi walked the path of the sword until he died at 62. He never strayed from the path once. In his youth, there were many temptations: money, status, stability. However, Musashi refused them all. Why? Because they weren't his path. Musashi's path was only one thing: master the way of the sword. He never strayed from this path once. That's why he was undefeated. That's why, until 7 days before death, he kept writing, painting, and refining his swordsmanship. What is the way that Musashi teaches? It's what you can believe from the bottom of your heart. This is my life. It might be work, it might be family, it might be creation. Anything is fine. What's important is deciding, this is my path. And once you decide, never stray from it. Why do we stray from the path? Because we think, just this once. Just for today, I can skip it. Just this once, I can compromise. One time off the path won't hurt. However, Musashi says, just this once is the beginning of losing your way. Once you stray from the path, it becomes easier to stray again. And when you realize it, you no longer know where the path was. What Musashi teaches is this: a path becomes a path because you walk it every day. If you leave it even for one day, it's no longer a path. In the era Musashi lived, many samurai gave up on their path midway. I've done enough. I can take it easy around here. However, Musashi was different. He kept walking the path until death. That's why, 400 years later, he's still remembered worldwide.